amazing. Before I go any further, one more round of applause, my dear friend of 32 years and a great comedian, Mr. Victor Henry. Give it up for Larry. I'm going to start off this evening by telling you something about me that you may not know. I am from a very, very small town in northwest Texas, and I grew up in this little bitty house that was built with my father and my grandfather the year I was born in 1956. And now I live in Beverly Hills in a house my wife and I just built, and I was doing an interview the other day, and this guy asked me, has it changed? You know, the fame and the fortune and all that, and I said, fuck, I don't know. And, but I kept thinking about it, and I realized it's changed me in two ways. One, while we were building this house, my wife selected these really exotic Japanese toilets. And as you approach these toilets, the lid of the toilet automatically opens. Now, I was mad when I first saw it. I was like, you're wasting our money on this kind of stuff? But I got used to it after a while. And now, when I approach a toilet and the lid doesn't automatically open, I just piss all over the top. I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. It's nasty. And I still eat tacos, but now I only eat the baby duck pussy lip tacos that you can get at the Four Seasons in Beverly Hills on Sunday. What they do is they take these baby ducks and they just snip the pussy lips off of them. And it takes like 35 baby ducks to make one taco, but it is fucking worth it, man. It is so good. And it turns out they've been snipping the pussy lips off of baby ducks in Saudi Arabia for 1,500 years and just throwing them in a river. And the cook from the Four Seasons went there and saw this amazing waste of baby duck pussy lips and just started thinking, you know, fuck, tacos. Let's make some fucking tacos, man. PETA hates it. And I don't know why either, because they used to sell duck tacos, nobody gave a shit. You gotta kill the duck to get the duck meat. You don't have to kill the baby duck to get the pussy lips off of it. Sure, they bleed to death in the trash can when you throw them away, but they're baby ducks. It's a nickel for 1,000 of them. Don't act like you give a shit. So if you're ever in Beverly Hills on Sunday night, go to the Four Seasons. It's baby duck pussy lip taco night. Get there early because parking. Fun. I'm 62 years old now, and I know two things to be true. One, anything has the potential to become a DUI checkpoint if you crash your car into it. And you can't unfuck the housekeeper. That's all I know, really. That's all I know. Governor Schwarzenegger helped me with that second one, so I didn't have to do it myself. Good of him. Don't drink and drive. That's what they say. They also say friends don't let friends drive drunk. Well, which one is it? Somebody's got to drive. I was leaving a party the other night, and this buddy of mine goes, hey, Ron, can you drive? I was like, I can drive. I can't get pulled over. Now, I won't drive drunk, but I will ride with somebody that can't blow a .08 and I fucking know it. Because .08 is not drunk. That's a revenue stream for the federal government. That's what that is. I'm drunk at all. I'm even kind of drunk. This is drunk. That guy can't drive my car. I'm not saying I've never driven drunk, because I've drank so much in my life. Now on the back of my driver's license, there's a list of organs I need. Florida one time and I was driving a rental car and I was by myself and I had 2 drinks. I didn't make the drinks. I don't know how strong they were. Tasted strong. Whiskey and ice cubes. And I'm driving by myself and I look up ahead and there's a sobriety checkpoint. I'm like, fuck. Which is what you say when you see a sobriety checkpoint. And I get up there and the cop goes, Mr. White, I smell alcohol on your breath. I said, that's been there since 77, dude. You pour that much scotch on a tongue, it's gonna smell like scotch forever. There's nothing you can do about it. We've tried everything that there is. He goes, well, I need you to blow into this breath a lot. Well, here's the bad news, Hoss. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not, and I'll tell you why, because if that piece of shit is calibrated wrong, I could be convicted of doing something I didn't do. He goes, and I need you to do a field sobriety test. I'm like, just tell me what you want me to do. He goes, I want you to stand on one foot, raise the other foot. No, bullshit, fuck that, I'm not doing that either. I'm not, I'll tell you why, that's not a sobriety test, that's an agility test, and I'm not very goddamn agile. I'm not, and it's not fair to me because I'm older, I'm not in that great a shape, I may or may not be a little drunk, fuck, I don't know. You know what a fair drunk driving test is? Drunk driving, get in the car, let's do a couple blocks, let me show you some skills, you know? I'm not a 21-year-old puking cheap tequila through his nose, I'm a 62-year-old raging alcoholic, motherfucker. Well, that's what it said in the deposition. Here's another fair test, darts. We go back to Old Mary's Pub where this whole fucking thing started. If you can beat me at darts, you can take me to fucking jail. How about that? How about a sobriety competition? I had to go this year for the first time in my career to do stand-up in Europe. I did shows in Amsterdam and Edinburgh and London. And when I was in Scotland, I realized it's the Scots that fucking made me laugh the hardest. And not because they're trying to say something funny. It's just the words they pick to say whatever the fuck they say. It fucking bends me the fuck over. And I'll give you an example. I wear wild socks. I think those are my octopus socks, but...
Woo! I love those!
I was having breakfast in this restaurant across the street in the hotel I was staying at, and I carry a bag, and I forgot my bag in my room, so I got nothing. I got a room key. And I tell the guys after I finished and I realized this, I said, I got to go back to the hotel and get some money. I'll come back over and pay you. That's what he says. Well, those don't look like the socks of a man who'd steal an egg. They sure the fuck don't, do they? I did the shows in London, and they don't play my stuff on TV in London, so I really had to call and promote these shows, and I called this radio station in London, and this is what the DJ says to me. Roll. Every time Stephanie calls on a radio station, we always ask the same question. If you could have a conversation with anyone, living or dead, who would it be? I said, living. And he tried to explain it to him. He's like, no, what I'm saying. Yeah, I fucking get it, dude. Trying to make this funny, sell some comedy tickets. And the punchline of that story is I come back to the States, and as soon as I get back to the States, my assistant goes, Ron, did you hear that John Mayhew died? I'm like, John Mayhew, why do I know that name? It's your ex-wife's divorce lawyer. Oh, I hate died 10 years before, but I still had his office number in my phone, and my wife said I was a dick for doing this. But as soon as I found out he died, I called his office and I said, "I'd like to speak to John Mayhew, please." And the lady goes, "Well, I'm very sorry to tell you, but Mr. Mayhew passed away." I said, "Okay." I called her right back and said, "I'd like to speak to John Mayhew." She goes, "I just told you, Mr. Mayhew passed away." I said, "I know, I just like hearing you say it." My wife's like, "You're a dick." I'm like, "Bullshit, he's lucky I don't know where he's buried. I'll show you his dick." This is something I saw in the news. I was befuddled by this. It was a story about a town in the Middle East where by law, the women who live in this town have to wear burqas with one eye hole. That's it. That's all you get. One eye hole. Not two eye holes like those other sluts. One fucking eye hole. Just enough to keep from bumping into shit. That's all you need. And the guys over there still think they're hot. They're like, "Oh, look at that one." I'm like, "Which one?" Well, they're like fucking tents, dude. And I think that's why they marry so many of them. You gotta unwrap a few to get the one you're looking for. You do. In a sight unseen situation. And if you're all politically correct, don't worry, I'm not busting on women from the Middle East. I know they're perfectly content to live the way they do. They are. You can see it in their eyeballs. All you gotta do is walk up there and look at it. "Oh yeah, you look happy as fuck." Yeah. You got a toaster oven in there? 3 weeks ago, my wife and I went to New York City and we went to a gay wedding, and it was a man marrying a woman, but it was the gayest fucking thing I've ever seen. You get married now if you're gay anywhere in America. That's fine with me. I don't care one way or the other. Get married, don't get married, I don't give a shit. I have tons of gay friends, most of them dancers from Vegas. They're like, "We want to get married too." I'm like, "You're gonna fucking hate it." I think the Supreme Court fucked up the best thing about being gay. "Well, I would marry you, but I can't." I'd give you half my shit right now, but fuck, I don't make up the rules. I was doing a meet and greet after a big show the other day, and this young guy goes, "When my girlfriend comes back from vacation with her family, I'm going to ask her to marry me. Do you have any advice, Mr. White?"
Don't.
Now, I just had gotten off the ugliest phone call I've ever had with my wife, and it was about that house. And part of that house was going to be a rehearsal space for her band. And while I was shooting a pilot in Vancouver, it turns into a 24-track recording studio. And I was so goddamn mad I could not fucking see. I'm so tired of people going through this money like they earned it. And that builder, that sorry motherfucking piece of fucking... You ever notice nobody ever dies when you wish they would? This conversation got so goddamn out of hand that shit that should have never been said got said and it just spun into a dark shitstorm of fuck. I'll tell you how the conversation ended and then you'll know how it went. This is how the conversation ended. She goes, "Listen, Ron, I'm not trying to be an asshole." And I go, "Really? You're not even trying?" "Oh, you're gifted then." And I told this young guy, I said, "Yeah, if I were you, I'd go to a gay bar and let somebody fuck me in the ass and make goddamn sure I'm not gay, because they look like they're having more fun than anybody." And it does too, because we live right next to West Hollywood. You go anywhere in West Hollywood, there's these gigantic gay men's clubs with these huge patios. These places are packed to the fucking rafters at 2:30 in the afternoon, 7 days a week. And these guys are laughing and dancing and drinking, and they're having a fucking blast. And you know why they're having so much fun? Because there ain't no goddamn women there. They're doing whatever the fuck they want to do, whenever the fuck they want to do it. I got a good idea, Tommy. Let's do a big shot of tequila, you snore some cocaine off my dick, and fuck me right up the butt. And they march off to the bathroom and do exactly that, exactly then. And the reason they can is there's not a woman there to go, "Well, that's morally wrong, and bathrooms aren't near clean enough to butt fuck in." Oh, they beg to differ. I thought about being gay one time and I changed my mind when it came my turn. I'll tell you the story. This happened at the Comedy Store in LA. That's where I hang out. And the Comedy Store is a pretty big place. It's got 3 rooms, and it's a showcase club like the ones in New York. So it's always a bunch of comics there. Everybody does short sets. And so I just done a main set in the main room, and I was out in the hallway talking to Joe Rogan, and this guy comes up to me, early 30s, I guess, handsome fella, very flamboyant, unbelievably nervous. And he comes up to me and he goes, "Mr. White, I was always gonna tell you, if I ever had the chance to talk to you, that when my father was alive, you were his favorite comedian by far." I said, "Well, thanks for telling me that, man. That makes me feel good. I'm sorry you lost your dad." And he goes, "And I was in love with you, and I'd see you on television, I'd pretend you were my husband, and we were gonna go out to eat and things like that." Well, that's nice of you to say. It's really good to meet you. Because I had a picture of you I used to masturbate to. Which one? And it turned out I had no problem with this at all. It didn't bother me one goddamn bit. And the reason it didn't bother me is because I thought the number of people beating off to my image was 0. Turns out it's a solid 1. I guarantee you, when I leave the house, my wife's not dragging out a headshot and rubbing one off. That gets hotter every fucking day. You know, you could look more like Steve Bannon or Anderson Cooper's grandfather. You know, what you're going for, what look it is. I'm not gay, but the other day I was downloading this movie to watch on a plane. I downloaded Thor, and I'm not gay, but that Chris Hemsworth, that is a pretty human being right there. That doesn't make me gay to think that. Some people are pretty, you recognize that. I know you do, I do. And That doesn't make me gay, but the next day I downloaded Tarzan, and that guy's good looking too, but he's no Chris Hemsworth, and I'm sitting there watching that movie going, well, this would just flat be a better movie if Chris Hemsworth was sitting on the back of that elephant with no shirt on, kind of playing with his nipples. What the fuck? Playing with his nipples? And the next day I downloaded The Help, and I'm like, I know Chris isn't a young Negro woman, but if you put an April, what the fuck? With you and Chris? I consider myself to be a gold star heterosexual. Now, the reason I know this term is we have lesbian friends too, and I know that a gold star lesbian is a woman who's never had any dick, not once, ever in her life, and I've never had any dick, not once, ever in my life. And I know some guys have had one homosexual experience or two or 10,000, doesn't make a fuck any difference to me. I could not possibly care less. I just never have. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 18 years old, and I was in the Navy stationed in San Diego. And I lost my virginity to a prostitute in Tijuana, Mexico, who was overweight and her teeth had no general direction or color. But she was well within my budget. I got stationed in Pearl Harbor, and after I've been in Pearl for a little while, I found that there's this one part of Hotel Street on Oahu that you can go to, and these really cute girls will jump in your car and blow you for $5. Best deal I've ever heard of in my life to this day. And that's about a 45-second task with me at 18 years old. I gotta go. I'm coming back twice a day. Every day. I'm there for 8 months. Well, a little while back, I was watching this documentary on HBO about transvestites, and they start talking about the transvestite scene that's been on Hotel Street on Oahu for 55 years. Those were dudes! I let 150 dudes suck my dick! Jesus! What's the record? You'd think you could tell man mouth from woman mouth, but I swear to God you cannot. A tongue is a tongue and a tooth is a fucking tooth. If there would have been a hand job, I'd have been going, hey, you're a plumber, dude. Get that cloth in the fucking And I think that's why I was a bedwetter. I was a chronic bedwetter when I was a kid. I went to bed every night and I fucking hated myself for it. I thought it was the worst thing you could be. And it wasn't promoted to be that great by the people that were washing the fucking sheets every day. And I would never spend the night at anybody's house or anything like that, because my fear was word was gonna fucking get out that I was a bedwetter and I was fucking history associate. And when I was 11, I went 2 months without wetting the bed, and I'm like, it's over. I was a religious little kid. I went to church all the time, loved it, and I prayed a lot. That's what I prayed mostly about, was like, about this fucking thing. And I didn't put it that way, of course. I was more thou and thou, you know. And then it fucking happened. We went to bed 2 months, and my best friend Joe Payne said, hey man, why don't you come spend the night? My other best friend Danny Davis was going to be there. It'll be fun. Ask your parents. And I'd always tell them my parents said no, but they didn't. They just wouldn't do it. And I'm like, fuck, I don't wet the bed anymore. I'm free to fucking move about the fucking cabin or whatever the fuck, you know. So I said, yeah, it'd be great. And I've been to Joe's house plenty of times, but I never spent the night. And he had bunk beds in his room. He slept on the top bunk, Danny slept on the bottom bunk, and I slept in a sleeping bag on the floor. And I went the fuck. And I'm like, no, they're gonna tell everybody in school I'm a bedwetter. That's all I am. And nothing would make this better unless one of them went to bed. As an 11-year-old child, I made a conscious decision to piss on Danny Davis. to make me look better. That's what a piece of shit I am right there. And he woke up and goes, I had a dream somebody was peeing on me, and I went to bed. And I'm like, me too. And I never told him either. The way he found out, I was doing a radio station in Austin, and he moved there, and I hadn't seen him in years. And I told that story, and he called the radio station. They put him through, and he goes, "You fucking pissed on me, dude! You let me go my whole life thinking I went to bed and Joe Payne's house." That seems to be where we're at. This summer, I did this casino in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It was a brand new place. I'd never been there before. I was only 2 months old, and they first took me to, I'm a golf nut, so they took me to Southern Hills, a great golf course, to play golf. It was 100 degrees outside, and I had 2 shows to do that night, like I did last night. And so I really was exhausted and hot and sweaty, and all I wanted to do, I wanted to get a massage, a shower, and a nap, and get ready to do these 2 shows. And they take me back in the back of the building, and that's where the spa was. I said, let me ask them about this massage. They had one in 8 minutes. It's the only one they had all day. I said, do you have a shower? Because I'm nasty. They go, yeah, of course we do. And they tell me where it is, and I go find the locker, and I take off my nasty shoes, and I put on my robe, my rubber shoes, and my goddamn bungee key, and go over and find the showers, and it's a shower suite sort of thing. So you open one curtain, and there's where you take your robe off, you open another curtain, and that's where the shower is, and I walk in there, and there's no knobs. There's a computer screen, and I touch it, and it lights up, and I'm like, motherfucker. And I walk back into the other part of the goddamn thing, and I put my goddamn robe back on, put my fucking shoes back on, go find that locker, unlock it, get my fucking reading glasses. When I go back in there, I touch it. Well, fuck, now I can read it. You know, you can change the volume of the water. You can change the pressure of the water. You can change the lighting in the shower. I'm like, what do you think I'm going to do in here? I jack off in the morning normally. And as fucking modern as the thing was, they still had them little bottles of shampoo. And if you make those little bottles of shampoo, you know what I wanted to say on that bottle? Shampoo! As big as you can fucking write it. I don't want to take my goddamn reading glasses to the fucking shower. I want to know what's in those little goddamn bottles. You ever jack off with conditioner? Yeah, fucking Chase. We started this tour a while back in Vegas, and while we were in Vegas, we're walking down the strip, and they're having a sex toy convention, which is one of their 5 biggest conventions of the year. I've been working in Vegas for fucking 15 years, and it's a sight to behold. And my wife said, hey, my friend's having a shower. I need to get her a gag gift. Let's go to this thing. It'll be fun. All right, let's go. And it was gigantic, and all the big dildo companies were there. Fuck Rudders, Bone Depot, Shaft Crafters, Black & Decker, Peterbilt, Johnson & Johnson, and Johnson & Johnson. So we walked up to Knob Cobblers or whatever it was. We walk up to this booth that only sells dildos. That's all they sell. And I asked the guy, I said, how much are the dildos? And he goes, they're not dildos, they're personal massagers. Okay. How much is the personal massager shaped like a big black cock? Because we're looking for a gag gift, and if that doesn't gag her, I don't know what something big. You tell me a broom handle, a pool cue, a fucking plunger. Jesus Christ, gag, woman, fuck. There are porno movies everywhere, but the porno movie that caught my eye was called Fat Midgets, Fucking Fat Midgets 2. I would have missed the boat if I was in the porno business right there. I thought, ain't nobody gonna pay to watch fat midgets fuck fat midgets. Bullshit, there's a sequel. Apparently there were some unanswered questions there. I picked up the DVD and looked at the cover and it looked like somebody was trying to shove a pumpkin through a beach ball. Now I've got questions. And then the whole experience just started to creep me the fuck out. And I just grabbed my big black dick and left. Seemed like they give you a sack or something. My wife does yoga, and next to her yoga school in Beverly Hills, there's a spa that offers treatments that I've never heard of. One of these treatments is a thing called anal bleaching. I'll give you a second to get your arms around that. Now, I've never walked in the doors of this place, and I don't know exactly what they're up to, but apparently, some people are really unhappy with the color of the old bunghole. So unhappy, they're willing to bleach it until it becomes a more desirable color. Now, I don't know if they have a color in mind when they start, or if you just bleach it, get whatever the fuck you get, or if there's some paint chips and a tray of Smile Bright, you're just spreading your ass cheeks, squatting into a tray of solution for a limited amount of time for desired result. What's it look like now? I don't know. I know this. I have no idea what color my asshole is. I don't have that kind of mirror or that kind of friend. Just give it a quick look, see, what do you think? What would you call it, a Georgia peach or what? Nobody wants to be a white asshole, but everybody wants to have one. What am I supposed to tell my relatives? Another service that they offer at this place is called a thing called vaginal rejuvenation. All right. Now I find it strange that vaginal rejuvenation is fine, yet it's illegal to roll back the odometer on your car. Vaginal rejuvenation. Rejuvenate your vagina. It was juvenated, it became unjuvenated, it needs to be rejuvenated. Bring it into the shop. Now, I don't know what's wrong with your vagina that makes you think it needs to be rejuvenated. I don't know if it just looks tired or sad, worried about something it can't do anything about. Well, whatever it is, I wouldn't worry about it if I were you. I wouldn't, and I'll tell you why. because the most jacked up cooch I've ever seen in my life is way better looking than my ball sack. Besides, if you're at that point in the makeout session, you're going to do it anyway. It doesn't matter. Like if you were waiting in line for 2 hours to ride a roller coaster and it finally shows up and the seats are kind of bumpy and worn out, you're still going to hop in that motherfucker. So I don't have the answer to a lot of life's questions. Or any. But oddly enough, I do have a suggestion for this. Ladies, if you don't like the way the cooch is looking, before you go to something that extreme, try this. Hear me out. Quit trimming it for a year and just do a comb over. Big lip with a little lip right over the clit, tuck in the meat curtains if you got them, get some brill cream and some dippity-doo and just set it and forget it. Shut it down. Close shop.
Well, I guess now I will. Woo! All right, yeah.
Fuck.
All right, yes. Yes.
We monitor my health pretty closely for obvious reasons. I had a little scare back in December and I ended up in the emergency room and I had to cancel some dates, but I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. We can figure out. I'm good. They did this big barrage of tests trying to figure out what the fuck, you know, and we got the test back and my doctor called me and he goes, Ron, I was just looking at these test results and your liver function is perfect. I said, you might want to recheck that. He goes, we did. And I'm going to go have a cocktail then. He said this, he goes, Ron, you cannot gain any more weight. And I said, that's what I thought. My wife bought me a bicycle thinking I might ride it. It's for sale. And if you're looking for a bicycle, it's a great deal. It's got 750 yards on it. It was a demo when I bought it. It had 350 yards already on it. And I put the other 400 yards on it myself. And if you'd like to buy the bicycle, just go to my house in Beverly Hills, and it's 400 yards from there. Fucking, I'll walk back. 62 years old. Now, and here's what I found out about sex.
Damn.
If you're really great at sex, women will forgive you for anything. And I am somewhere right below that. Right there in the can't let it fucking go. It wasn't that long ago that I could make my wife scream, and now if she makes any noise at all, it's to say something like, do you need to take a little break? You look like you just ate a ghost pepper. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? I'm better at oral sex than I've ever been, and I think just because I'm older, you know, I'm more patient than I was when I was young. Because now, I'll live there for hours and let you do your thing. I've got nowhere to be. My buddy the other day told me he wouldn't give his wife head unless she just came out of the shower, and I told him I'll give my wife head if she just came out of the gym. Because I don't care if she's a little salty. In fact, if she's too clean, I salt her. Keep a salt shaker by the side of the bed, and when she looks the other way, I just grab it. I think it brings out the flavor. In the summer, I keep a bowl of limes right next to the salt shaker. Lime juice, a little bit of salt, hunker down, do some pussy shots. That's what I
Yes, I enjoy that.
do not try that at home. I got like 20 tweets from one guy going, "My wife's pussy was burning." Like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't, you dumb motherfucker. You can't fix stupid.
Woo! 100%.
I did this thing with Foxworthy the other day, and Jeff has a segment on, please guys, let me perform, okay? Don't yell shit out, it makes you look stupid. Anyway, he's got a segment on SiriusXM called The Comics Mind, and we've been wanting to do it, but we wanted to do it in front of a live crowd instead of the studio where they do most of them, and we decided to do it at the Punchline in Atlanta, and we hadn't been on stage together in 12 years, and it was a blast, and we were reminded us both how much fun we have on stage together. And before we started my tour, I had my tour bus there, and we were out on the bus catching up, and the TV was on, but the volume was down. This Golden Corral commercial comes on, which of course is where Jeff works now. He's on those commercials. Have you not seen those commercials, those Golden Corral commercials? He's got like swords and shit. What kind of balls does it take to put the word corral in the name of your goddamn restaurant in the first fucking place? Boy, do they know that demographic. Come on down to the Golden Corral. Welcome to our giant all-you-can-eat food trough. We have a chocolate waterfall and a cotton candy machine. I can't wait till they go hog wild and just put a fucking sugar lick right there in the middle of the goddamn road. Get too fat at the Golden Corral, go to the dress barn. That's insensitive right there. Get a dress the size of a fucking barn and come on back to the Golden Corral. They call it Golden Corral, of course, because somebody was already using the name Ye Old Fat Fuckery. My cousin Ray, who I've talked about on stage before, he's a real guy. He only eats at the Golden Corral because my cousin Ray only dates huge women. Not plump girls or fat girls. Huge women. That's his deal. Always has been. He likes them the bigger, the goddamn better. Grip big old round and grip big old moo and 400 plus. Grip big old biggins. He said the Golden Corral is the best place to find them because he says that's where the really big girls like to winter. He didn't say that. He brought one to Vegas last year and I saw her by the swimming pool in a two-piece bathing suit and I can't jack the fucking memory out of my goddamn skull. Looked like somebody had stretched a rubber band over a gigantic head of cauliflower. I'm like, God damn, Ray. He goes, well, she's had 3 kids. I'm like, what, for lunch? You gotta quit eating them babies, ma'am. Put down that ketchup, drop that top. Eat this baby duck pussy lip top. Eat it. Back in 1996, my dear friend Jeff Foxworthy became the biggest comedian that ever lived. I don't know if you know that or not. Jeff sold more comedy albums than Pryor and Cosby combined. Over 15 million albums, not including the millions and millions of blue-collar albums you guys bought. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. When Jeff got big enough to take somebody with him, he took me with him, which was an amazingly gracious thing for Jeff to do for me. He always believed in my talent, but not my work ethic. It was his goal for a lot of years to make me a famous comedian, and he truly sucks at it because it took him for fucking ever. I don't mean to seem ungrateful, but I got shit to do, Jeff. First big gig we did together was the first week of December 1996 at the MGM Grand in Vegas. And you might be a redneck, it's been the #1 comedy album in the country for 2 years. It's still the #1 selling comedy album of all time. And Jeff and I have been friends for 10 years, and all of a sudden, boom, he's the biggest comic in the world. His face is plastered all over Vegas, and we're having a fucking blast. We have an all-access pass to Las Vegas, which is way better than the no-access pass we had right before that. Well, that same year, my dear friend Bill Engvall, the dancer, people ask me all the time, you think you'll ever do Dances with the Stars? I'm like, that's something that goes horribly fucking wrong. But that year, Bill was touring with Reba McEntire. The same week we were at the MGM Grand, they were at Caesar's Palace, and that same weekend, Larry the Cable Guy was at the International House of Pancakes in Tucson. Just to get her done. He wasn't there, but the three of us were there, and I was there with a woman I couldn't stand eventually. Now, she was beautiful, beautiful. God, she was pretty. 40 years old, never been married, which makes you a little suspicious. Because usually if a woman's that beautiful at 40 and never been married, either they give horrible head or they're completely insane. And 3 hours after I met this chick, I'm laying on my back going, this bitch is crazy. And I was right. So I took her to Vegas. Well, Bill's doing one show a night, and Reba back down that big forum down at Caesars. We're doing 3 shows a night. So when Bill gets finished, he comes down and does a set with us, and we get done with our shows. Bill and Jeff want to go drinking and gambling, and I want to go to a prayer meeting and a poetry reading. But they keep hounding me. Well, I say, yeah, fuck it, let's go. But I didn't want her to go. She is trash drunk on red wine. Charming. And I said, let me go talk to her. So I go up to the room. I said, listen, I know it's our first night in town, but I'm going to go drinking with the boys. And she goes, fine, why don't you just leave me in a hotel room by myself? I'm like, you're starting to get it. And we went out that night. It was one of the funnest nights of my life. The 3 of us have been friends for 10 years, so we were young comics together in our 20s, and that's what we used to talk about. We'd sit around and get fucked up and talk about maybe one day we'll be the big comics in Vegas. Our names will be on the big fucking signs, and guess what? It fucking happened too. And we were. Anyway, it gets to be 5:30 in the morning. We decide to break it up in Vegas and make it horny if you let it. And I go back up to the room. She's passed out in this negligee. And I know if I wake her up and try to have sex with her, she's going to hit me in the face with a bucket of nickels I just spotted on her nightstand. And I don't need a new mugshot because my last one was so good. Is that Glenn Campbell or Nick Nolte? Well, that's our boy Tater Salad is who that is. So I decided, well, I'll just do it myself. So I rummage around the car, find some lotion, cut to the next morning. I'm sure you're grateful. Wake up the next morning with this shit hangover. She's already awake making coffee, and I wake up and she goes, what's wrong with your hand? My hand is dark orange. And it's not the only thing that's dark orange. Bain de Soleil Sunless Tanning Lotion for dark skin only. And apparently I was getting down because it was on my One more round of applause for Mr. Victor Henley. Give it up for Victor Henley. I'm going to give you a pitch. I own this tequila company. It's called Number One. That's the best drinking liquor on the planet right there. When we brought it to the United States, we knew how good it was because we were going over to Mexico buying it 2 bottles at a time because that's all you could bring back. So we opened this company. We drink all we can and sell the rest, so you better hurry if you want something. It's going down pretty quick. But when we got it here, we entered the 5 biggest competitions in the country, and we knew what it would do, but we were still glad to see it. In the 5 competitions, we won 2 bronze medals, 2 silver medals, and 10 gold medals. The Extraneo has never been beat in a competition by anybody ever in the United States, so you can't get it here yet. Then why the fuck did you tell us about it? Well, you can go to taterstequila.com. Say it with me one time so you'll remember. taterstequila.com. And we will send it to your house, and you will absolutely fucking fall in love with it. I got a tweet the other day from this guy that said, I don't think you should use the stage to sell your tequila. And I'm like, why don't you go find a nice, quiet place to fuck yourself? So I get to do some fun shit. Please don't yell stuff out. Let me just do the show, please. I can't hear that these rooms were designed for the sound to go that way, and I just hear some dumbass screaming shit out. And it makes me want to jab your eye out with a pen. Perfect fucking crowd, a couple of times. So anyway, I get to do some pretty fun shit. I'm a big golfer, and I got to go to the Tiger Woods Phil Mickelson thing out of Shadow Creek in Vegas, which is where I play golf in Vegas. And it's one of the most exclusive golf courses in the world. It was built for Steve Wynn's Whales, a big, huge, multi-rich dudes. And I worked for him for 3 years and didn't even know it existed because I knew if I found out it existed, I'd pester the fuck out of him until they put it in my contract, which is exactly what happened. This place is so tricked out, it's unbelievable. And the first time I walked through the gates, I was like, nobody's stopping me. It's where all the pros play when they're out there. And I was out there a few years ago when Tiger Woods was out there just dicking around. He was great, man. He signed my golf glove. He's the most famous person I've ever met, and I've met a lot of famous people. Nobody's as famous as Tiger fucking Woods, man. Globally, you know. And I love Tiger. And I defended Tiger. When I started hearing those first initial rumors about all those women, I felt sick to my stomach for the guy because I've never been accused of doing anything I didn't do. Not one time. I did it every fucking time. Every time somebody said I did it, I fucking did it every goddamn time. Not once could I go, no, that was Glenn Campbell. Sure was. Hey, a lot of things smell like strippers. And I defended him to my wife. I said, you don't know what this guy's been through. He had his first famous golf shot on television when he was 2 years old. You don't know what his home life's like. You can't judge the guy because he made one mistake. And he gets called number 13, 14, 15, 16. I started going, God damn, Tiger, come on, buddy. And it got to the point where every time he got caught with another woman, my wife would go like this. What? I don't even know the fucking guy. You act like I was holding his dick the whole time it was going down. We watched him make that long apology standing next to his wife on TV, and afterwards my wife goes, well, do you think a guy like Tiger could quit cheating on his wife? And I said, you bet. What you know is bullshit, because you know as well as I do, if a guy like Strange, getting him to quit wanting Strange is like getting a dog that likes to kill chickens to quit killing chickens. They don't even know what you're talking about. You gotta quit killing chickens. All right? Let me see if I got this straight. I can still kill chickens. No, you can't kill chickens anymore. All right. Let's say I'm in a hotel room with the chicken. Let's say the chicken just wants to touch me. Can I kill that chicken? My wife told me all women want the same thing. They want to marry somebody who'll never have sex with anybody else, no matter what. And I said, well, then maybe you should consider marrying somebody that nobody else wants to fuck. If it means that much to you, you know. Don't marry the most famous golfer in the world. Marry the most famous frisbee golfer in the world. Ain't no line to fuck that dude. It all comes down to opportunity. Some guys are put in a position where they have to say no to beautiful women, and that's hard to do. And some guys are never put in that position, and that's way fucking easy. Yeah, I see these big 350-pound guys all the time going, I have never cheated on my wife. I'm like, oh, I bet that was tough. Tiger doesn't get any credit for all that pussy he turned down. And that's the number you're looking for right there. It is. My wife's best friend, her husband cheated on her. My wife hates Tiger's guts. And I'm like, well, what about that guy? You don't hate that guy? She goes, he did it one time. I said, he had one chance. This guy had sex with 100% of the women he possibly could his entire life. Tiger was 18 for 82,000. That takes a little goddamn discipline right there. It does. If 82,000 women want to have sex with you and you only fuck 18 of them, that's love. It is. He was in love with that woman and she broke his tiny tiger heart. He lost all those sponsors, which never made sense to me because his core fan base is men. I don't know one guy in America gave a fiddler's fuck what he did. I guarantee you, not one guy in America went, really? Tiger got some strange pussy? I'm dropping AT&T! Not one guy gave a fiddler's fuck. Now, when they were around their wives, they'd sure act like they gave a fiddler's fuck and get all foghorn, leghorn. Why, I can't believe a man would commit such transgression towards his wife. I say, how's his relationship with the Lord, I'd like to know. Then as soon as they're around their buddies, they're like, I wonder what kind of cologne he wears. I want to smell just like that dude. He lost so many sponsors, I'm thinking about bringing him over to Ron White Inc. And not because we need a new face for the company. I would just love to have somebody around the house to fade the heat when I fuck up. Ron White, you're the most selfish prick I've ever met in my life. Tiger! Get in here. You tell her what you did. Ron White, you're the finest man I have ever known. I shall fall to my bended knee and suckle your penis. Well, thank you, baby. Slow down. Good luck on Sunday, man. I bet against Brady twice in my life, in 2 Super Bowls in Seattle and Atlanta, so you know how I feel about betting against that motherfucker. 37 seconds? Yeah, that's too much fucking time. He's got you beat. He's got you right where he fucking wants you. No, he doesn't. Fuck. All right. Hold it down. I'm just talking up here. Doesn't mean you start shitting shit out. I don't give a shit about the Rams either, right? I mean, somebody would give a shit about it, but nobody does. But they would if it was the fucking St. Louis Rams, you know, or somebody else. Fuck, I don't know, just LA. I don't live there. I'm going to close the show this evening with my Dr. Phil story. Dr. Phil is a buddy of mine. We play golf together out in Bel Air where he lives. We got to be friends with him being a fan. Him and Robin came out to a show years ago in Phoenix and came back to say hi afterwards. I've known him for ever, like 9 years. And Doc doesn't drink or anything, but he's a fun hang. And I'm really good friends with their son, Jay McGraw, who doesn't show the doctors on television. And Doc and his family, every year for their vacation, Doc rents a yacht for 12 days in the Mediterranean. Doc got a lot of money. And that's the only way he can get away, because he's just one of those people that I know that's just so famous it doesn't look like it's any fun. You know, he can't go anywhere without just getting mobbed, and he's just too fucking famous. I'm the perfect amount of famous. Here's how famous I am. Hey, Ron. Hey, man. Done. Thank you. Not Doc. Doc goes, my brother-in-law's all fucked up in the head. I wonder if you and I can sit out of the car. Come back here, asshole! I've seen it fucking happen, so that's what they do. Well, years ago, right after we met, my wife asked me if I'd go on vacation with her to Europe, and I'd never been to Europe. She toured there, so it was all over the place. And we were there, it was fun, and one day the phone rings, and it's Doc, and he goes, Jay just told me you guys were in Monaco. And I go, yeah, we're in Monaco. He goes, we're going to be in Monaco tomorrow. Why don't you come party on the yacht? And I said, fuck yeah! Which is what you say when somebody says you want to come party on the yacht. Let's try it one time. You want to come party on the yacht? Fuck yeah! Ooh, that was pretty. And we were staying at the Fairmont Hotel right by the harbor. We were down there looking at the yachts the day before, big-ass yachts, people partying on them. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if you knew somebody that had one of these things? You could hop on and throw the fuck down. That's how I do it. And these are the mega yachts. These are the biggest yachts in the world. Steve Wynn's yacht is there. Prince Albert of Monaco's yacht is there. That Russian dude with the tiny giraffes. They're all there. And they said they were coming in at 6:30 the next evening, so we woke up and had a late lunch and were drinking this fantastic fucking wine. Those French red wines make me hornier than Frank fucking Sinatra. And we could go back to the hotel and take a nap. Took a nap like we both just got out of prison.
I've heard the story.
And we wake up at 6 and we walk down there, and sure enough, Doc's backing in a 165-footer. I don't know if that's how they do it. Now, the only way to get on this yacht is to walk up this gangplank, and I'm walking up the gangplank going, nobody's stopping me. And we get on board, and there's our friends from Southern California, halfway around the world in Europe. I never thought any of this shit had ever happened to somebody like me. And I'm hugging everybody, and I'm a hugger, but if I'm giving you a hug and I'm in a strange environment, I'm really just looking over your shoulder trying to find the bar. That's why I'm turning you. And I see the bar, and the dead front center of the bar was a bottle of Black Grouse, which is a scotch I had a wrestling match with for a few years. Really fucking good, and really hard to find, and especially back then. And they bought it for me, and the bartender poured me a big old glass of whiskey, bigger than this one. And I guess because I was in such a good mood and I hadn't had a drink since lunch and all, it just tasted better than it's ever tasted. I took one little sip out of it and I was like, oh my God, that tastes like butter honey Asian Lindsay Lohan's pussy. Just a touch of skank right there on the end of it to remind me that it's whiskey, which is important to a whiskey drinker. It tasted so good, I skipped dinner. I'm like, you know what, I'll just have another one of these instead of solid food. 15 people were having dinner with this big chef. Why don't you scare me out one more of these? And I knew I was drinking too much, and I'd get a big old glass of whiskey and take a little sip off of it, and I'd be talking to somebody, and I'd turn around and it's empty. I'm like, anybody else drinking out of this glass? And Doc knows I was really drinking a lot too. Doc goes, well, you're really going at it tonight, right? I said, yeah, Doc, sometimes it just tastes like spring water. He goes, why don't you just drink spring water? I don't know, I'm not a fucking doctor. This goes on for hours and hours and hours. Now they really love Margot, and Robin loves to goad her into singing, and she loves Robin, so she'll do it. And we're partying on the back of the yacht. People partying on the back of all these yachts, big hang on the pier with bars, fun shit, you know. And Robin goes, "Come on, Margot, sing for us." And she goes, "Okay." She stands up and she sings that last at full voice, 4.5 octave, classically trained opera singer, singing whatever the fuck she wants to. Amazing to hear it live. And when she gets finished with the first song, people on the yachts around us stand up and start cheering and clapping. I'm like, oh, it's very cool. They love jazz here. There's jazz clubs everywhere. American jazz. They know that song. Never heard a song like that. After the second song, they're leaning over the fucking rails of these yachts, just cheering and clapping, just trying to get her to keep going, you know. After the fifth song, there's 400 people gathered up around the back of this yacht on the pier just to listen to Margot sing flat-footed a cappella. That's how good she is. And I have a little secret. I am fucking hammered, man. I'm so goddamn drunk, I can't even believe it myself. And nobody really knows because I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting there listening to my wife sing, crying, trying not to throw up. So she does 8 or 9 songs and she goes, "Okay guys, that's enough," and she sits down. And I gotta preface this with, he was on vacation with his best friend, who's his head lawyer, and his wife, Mary Pat, and they're Baptists from Dallas, and they're a little fucking straight, and they're about to find out my secret. About 30 years ago, I wrote a bit that was so vile, I only did it for about a week once I got it working, and I was like, this isn't the direction I want to go, and I just quit doing it. And I have no idea why I picked that night to dust her off and take her off. The other day was tit fucking Mamie Eisenhower. Right before I came, my dick slipped and went straight down her tracheal tubes. Here's a moral question: do you pull out or dump a load into her goddamn lungs? Yachts are pulling up anchor on both sides of them as fast as they can get them out of the mud. They're leaving the harbor so fast there's a surfable wake. There's a stampede of tiny giraffes swimming towards the ocean in certain fucking death. People pulling their kids off the pier. I'm like, I don't think they hurt me. I'm going to do it again. God goes, that's enough out of you, Ron. And Margot's tapping me out. Honey, let's get your things together. It's time for us to go back to the hotel. Oh, just me and you. Come on, baby. It's time to go. Let's go. I don't know. You did it. And I speak fluent drunk. That means I don't know why you want to leave. I'm having a perfectly good time. It turns out there was a consensus. Okay, I'll leave. Fuck. Now, the only way to get off this yacht is to walk back off that gangplank, and at the end of that gangplank, there's an 18-inch drop-off to the pier. Margot's in front of me. I get to the end of it. Doc goes, "Big step, Ron." I said, "Thanks, Doc," thinking I'd made a big step towards something. Fuck, I don't know. It's amazing to me how much speed you can pick up in 18 inches if you don't see it coming. I slammed down at that pier. I landed square on this elbow, chipped a bone, dislocated my shoulder, put a 5-inch gash down the back of my arm, and I was so drunk I bounced off that pier. Fade to black. I woke up the next morning with a shoe buddies. All I could do was lay in bed and hold my arm. The only thing I could say was, "Shoe buddy." I can't move my shoulder. Shoe buddy. shirt stuck to my arm with blood and giraffe hair and whatever the fuck else you find on a pier. I have a wet Jolly Rancher in my armpit. Sour apple. I had to cut it out with a pair of scissors. You almost can't eat them after that. I slowly opened my aching fucking eyes. And there's Margo. What? You got really fucked up last night, Ron.
Honey, it's you.
What'd I do? Well, you did the chick fucking Mamie Avenel story. Did Mary Pat laugh? Mary Pat left is what Mary Pat did. Buddy. Do you think they're gonna invite us back over to party on the yacht today? Because I don't know what's gonna happen now, Ron. I don't know.
I know.
She walks out of the room, slams the door, and I just start berating myself. Why do you do it, Ron? Why can't you just drink like a regular fucking person, you know?
Exactly.
You got a great family and a great career. Why don't you make some changes in your life that are going to make a difference down the road? And about that time, the phone rang and it was Doc. He goes, "You guys going to come party on the yacht?" I said, "Fuck yeah!"
Thanks for playing, man. I hope you enjoyed it tonight. I'll come back to Medford as soon as you'll have me back. Thank you very much for the